First dates. Half the time they feel like job interviews, and the other half they feel like auditions for a reality TV show. You're sitting there trying to remember if you're supposed to play it cool or be mysterious or impress them with your best qualities. And meanwhile, you're sweating through your nice shirt and wondering if spinach is stuck in your teeth. Here's the truth. Most of that first date advice floating around is about as useful as a VCR manual. It sounds smart. It makes you feel like you're preparing, but in practice, it just doesn't work. The real magic of first dates is in the small, human stuff, the things that actually make two people want to see each other again. And that's what we're digging into today. The overhyped myths that trip people up, and the simple habits that actually turn a first date into something worth remembering. That sounds at all interesting? I hope you'll stick around, because that's what's on the agenda. Let's start with a classic. Play it cool. Don't show too much interest. Keep them guessing. Sure, in theory, it sounds intriguing. In practice, you come off like you'd rather be anyplace else. Picture this. You're across the table from somebody giving you absolutely nothing. No smile, no spark, no genuine laughs. That's not mysterious. That's a human screensaver. And nobody walks away thinking, wow, what a puzzle to solve. Everybody walks away thinking, well, that was boring. The better move is to show up like a real person. If you like what they're saying, laugh. If they tell you about their grandkid's soccer game, ask how it went. And if you're interested, let it show. You don't need to stage a Broadway production, but you also don't need to act like you're doing a court-ordered community service. Genuine enthusiasm is magnetic. What really works is active listening. Yeah, that means put your phone down. One of the fastest ways to tank a first date is also one of the easiest to avoid, being half present. Nothing kills connection like somebody nodding while obviously planning their Costco list in their head. Active listening doesn't mean you sit there like a therapist tilting your head and murmuring, interesting. It means actually paying attention, asking follow-up questions, reacting to their stories. And then you can laugh when they're funny, roll your eyes when they admit that they got lost 3 times on the way over. And for the love of romance, put the cell phone away. You don't need to check if your cousin liked your Facebook post about zucchini bread. And if they tell you that they just started pickleball, do not launch into your resume of every sport you've ever tried. Just say, oh, yeah, you're playing, huh? What do you like about it? That's it. That's all people want, is to feel seen and heard. You'd be amazed how many second dates happen because somebody finally felt listened to after years of talking to people who only wait for their turn to speak. You know how when you were little, every holiday you got stuck at the kids' table? Wobbly chair, plastic cups, trying to cut a roll with a butter knife the size of your thumb. And then one day you're finally old enough to sit at the real table. Linen napkins, full-size forks, maybe even a glass with a stem. Becoming a channel member is a little like that. Same great company, just a better seat and a better view. So if you feel like claiming your spot, the join button is right there. I'm saving you a chair. Now we can head back to the episode. Now this one's sneaky because it comes from nerves. You want to show that you're a catch, so you roll out your highlight reel. Problem is, highlight reels can get boring pretty quickly. I once heard about a guy who spent the entire date rattling off his marathon times. He thought he was showing discipline and drive, and she thought she'd been kidnapped into a late-night fitness infomercial. No surprise that there was no encore. Impressing is not the same as connecting. Sharing your best qualities, it's not bad, but it has to come with vulnerability. Tell the story about the time you tried to fix your sink and ended up flooding the entire basement, or how you forgot your own Netflix password and had to text your daughter at 3 a.m. to reset it. Those little imperfections, that's what makes you human, and that's what people actually like, believe it or not. Nobody's ever called me and said, Carrie, I knew he was the one because his resume was outstanding. But I've heard plenty of, he was so normal and funny. Yeah, I'd like to see him again. When you find one small overlap, it sometimes can feel like magic. Oh my God, you're both into comedies. Suddenly you're quoting lines from The Odd Couple and you both hate kale? Oh my gosh, boom, you're bonded for life. But the danger here is trying to connect on everything. If they mention they love sailing, you don't have to suddenly become the world's newest sailing enthusiast. It doesn't feel like connection when you do that. It feels like you're applying for clone. So let it unfold. If they talk about traveling, definitely ask about their favorite trip. And then, after a couple follow up questions, share your own stories, even if it's about the time that your luggage ended up in Cincinnati while you were in Florida. Connection comes from real overlap, not forced stuff. I'm going to give you a little secret weapon: humor, but not the scripted kind or stand up. Actually, not even being clever or witty, but trying to be human and willing to laugh when things go sideways. You spill your drink and you go, well, there's our icebreaker. Trip on the sidewalk. Guess I'm just trying to sweep you off your feet early. Nervous mess ups are not deal breakers, pretty much ever. They're bonding moments. I knew a woman who got hiccups throughout the date. She thought she'd blown it. My gosh, the conversation that ensued just brought them closer together. Conversation detoured into funny body quirks, and they've been dating ever since. Humor is like WD-40 for awkwardness. It loosens everything up and makes you memorable in the very best way. Oh, yes, the let me casually mention my ex so you'll see how totally fine I am now strategy. Can I tell you that there is no quicker way to make a date feel like a group dinner for three? Here's the deal, really. If your ex comes up naturally, fine. Acknowledge it. He didn't work out, he's doing his own thing, blah, blah, blah. But do not steer the ship there. Talking about your ex on a first date is like pulling out your vacation slideshow. Nobody asked for it, and honestly, nobody wants it. First dates are about possibility, not postmortems. Keep your eyes on the person across from you, not the ghost of somebody you've left behind. And here's the big truth. First dates aren't about pulling off a flawless performance. They're about being human enough that somebody wants to see you again. And you feel the same way. So forget the poker face or the resume or, what works is simple. Listen like you mean it. Share your quirks and laugh at the awkward stuff and look for the little sparks of connection. At the end of the night, nobody's thinking, wow, they had perfect posture and recited very impressive achievements. They're thinking, I felt relaxed and kind of good with that person. I could do that again. Okay, I hope you found that interesting or helpful. If you did, you might want to check out this episode here. Hey, before you go, can you please give my little mama here the thumbs up? Yeah, that's my mom. Tell me she's not adorable. Tell me she doesn't deserve a thumbs up from you. I appreciate you being here today. Don't forget to subscribe so that we can hang out again sometime soon. And until next time, have a good one.